Hello, sir. Hey, how you doing? Good, good. Where's your checklist? No sense in doing all the work. It works at the house. Now, if it didn't work at the house, it'd be another problem. But you got to work in there. All right. At 7:30, go get started. Thanks for showing up. Mandatory night tonight and next week. Tonight we're going to go over a final checklist. You guys put a lot of work into your final lap, I know. So kudos to the diagrams, to the amount of code you put in. It's pretty crazy. And so functionality is really all we're looking for next week. Whatever you have that's functional, that's working. You don't have to demo what's not working, but you can talk about what you'd like to continue to work on. And that'll be one of the questions I'll go over in a second. But tonight we're going to go over checklist, making sure you got everything, or you will have by next week. That's this week. Next week, we're meeting starting at 8 to 10, officially 8 to 10. That's the final slot they gave us. So we'll start basically in alphabetical order. Is how we'll do it next week. And I'll go over how we're going to do that next week and what questions you'll be asked and all that good stuff. I will buy pizza next week for you guys. So you can bring whatever other snacks you want to bring. That's fine. So let's get started. So there is inside of week 15. And Jane, you are presenting tonight, correct? All right, cool. All right, so inside the 15 class attendance checklist at the top, we'll go over that first, then work our way down. In the checklist, there's a link that says click here to view checklist. When you click on that link, it should bring you to the Scribblus page. You'll click on that. This is for you to just kind of check off what you have done, what you haven't done. I'll walk around once you check all those items off. If you don't have something done, just keep it unchecked. It's no big deal. I just want to kind of see where you're at. You're not going to turn this in or anything. And so just kind of check off your app meets the real world. You made comments throughout your code. You have inputs, use validation, 3 more functions. You've uploaded your code to GitHub. Created a web page using GitHub or Weebly. Explain that functionality. You've had others test your app. Even if it's just one person, that's fine. Your other personality won't work, by the way. That students asked me that before. But and then submitted next week's final links, which are going to be, we'll go over in a second, but it's going to be your website link, your GitHub link, and your Replit link if you're using Replit, which most of you are. And then if you're not using Replit, I think I've talked to you individually. I'm having you upload your stuff into GitHub as a zip file or something. That way I can have access to it. There are a few users that have exceptions when it comes to the final weeks, but I've already talked to you guys who are gals that are in that camp. So spend a few moments here. checking those off, and I'll come around and walk around real quick and see where you're at. Give me a moment to do that. And this is, by the way, a free service. You can actually sign up for your own scribbles. Basically, it's a place to just set up lists. And it can be public or private list you can make. I'm making a lot for different projects and stuff like that. You can share with teams of people and determine within a group or something if somebody's done their stuff that they're supposed to do. All right. Spinning. Back to your list. Hopefully, yeah. Oh, that's fine. I'll just come around with those who are not, their apps not spinning your Scribbles website. Just load them up. That's fine. Let's see where you're at. No big deal. Yeah, the zip file's fine. Yeah, okay. That'll work perfect. Yep, definitely. Good. Great. Did yours finally load? Okay. Everybody's at it at once. Great. So as you check those off, I've looked at most everybody's address up on the screen. Just make sure that this is for your use. Make sure you have everything checked off on your list next week. So if you waited to make many comments or no comments up to this point, maybe that's the last thing you'll do this next week. I'll make sure there's some comments in your code. Explain how things work. Next. So what you'll do, you'll submit this by Sunday. Well, you completed your app like you've been doing. It's going to be that last few check items you didn't check off tonight. And I put a link to that app checklist in there just in case, so you don't have to go back. And so make your comments in this discussion. It's a text entry, actually. You'll submit it in. And then you'll share your GitHub app webpage or your Weebly. That's the other option I believe some of you might be doing. Either one, just put the URL to your GitHub webpage or your Weebly webpage that explains your app. And I do have a link to this final app resources, which I created a video last week in the final app resources, which is in every week, on a screencast on how to create a web page and also how to add code to your GitHub using GitHub, basically, how to upload files and things like that. It's a simple drag and drop that you can do, or if you're just moving a CPP from your Replit, just copying code from CPP on Replit to a CPP on GitHub. But either way, watch the screencast. It's, let's see here, a whole 8 minutes long, so you can forward fast to whatever portion you want to get into. I'll walk you through exactly how to create the web page and to upload your code using GitHub. And then final app resources. This is a rehash of what we've been doing each week. And then the 15 podcasts. So let me talk about next week, which you'll be wanting to know about. As far as the order, I've already talked about alphabetical order. If that's okay with everybody, we'll just do that. And so I'll have them queued up. I'll have a list in front of me of how I've got them queued up on the computer here. I'll also have a Windows computer because there's going to be a couple programs we're running that are needing a Windows install. So I'll be running that as well. But I'll basically run all the, be able to run all of them from mine. I'm going to test them on mine. But when you come in next week, go ahead and load your app on your Mac, or even if you're a Windows machine. I know some of you, I think Josh is one, they've got a couple, three of you actually. You guys, excluding you, run your replets on your Mac to make sure it's running. What I'm going to try to use next week is there's ability to turn on our Macs to where I can have you share your screen to the overhead. We'll try that out, see if it works. If it fails, the fail safe is I'm going to have all of them up here anyway, test it out, ready to go. And we can do it that way if we have to. So if I say so-and-so's turn, you say it's not connecting or whatever, I can fail safe, kick it to mine, and then I'll have you come up here and run the code basically. But this way you can sit where you're at and run your code at your desk basically. That's how I'm wanting to do it, but technology doesn't always do that sometimes. But we'll plan on that anyway. I'll do the testing. And I think I put in the announcement this week to try to get here. Let me see if I did or not. I know I did my 2:45. Yeah, it starts at 8 o'clock. So you're used to getting here by 7:30 anyway. So you don't need to get here that early. I'd say by 7:45. But if you get here by 7:30, that'd be great. That way it'll give me enough time to test everything, give you time to test yours as well. Let's go back to that final link. So get here a little early to test your app, have me be able to load everything. Now, technically, this due date on this is May 7th, which is next Monday at midnight. But in order for me to run your code, I'll need to have the latest replit in here before Monday at 8 o'clock. That makes sense? So make sure your replit's in here. Because some of the links you'll have to put in here is your GitHub, the latest GitHub repo link, even if it's the same one you gave me before, that's fine. Your website link and your replit if you use that for your code, for your CPP file. Even those who didn't use CPP replit, I'll need your app website and your GitHub repo, both. There'll be a live stream that'll record everything as always. But here's some questions I'll ask you before you present. I'll say, describe the concept of your app and your audience, which should already be on your webpage already. And I'll have the webpage up on the screen while you're talking about this, by the way. And then discuss challenges you had creating the app, successes you had, what more are you wanting to do with the app as far as working, on other bells and whistles for the app to have. And then I'll have you demo the app. So maybe 3 to 5 minutes total per person, that long, depending on the complexity of your app. And then go right on to the next person. Sound good? So it's kind of one by one. About every couple per people, we will have you come up and get whatever snacks. I'll have pizza up here. If you guys want to bring other things, you may do so next week. That would be great. I will send an email reminder out. In fact, before you leave tonight, I'll probably just pass around I'll just do that right now. Pass around a piece of paper of what you would like to bring. That way everybody's not bringing any bag of Lay's potato chips. So I'll just pass a piece of paper around and I will have you fill out, whoever gets it first, if you could fill out, just put the top name and then a couple columns, name and item or something like that would be fine. That'd be great. And then just fill that out. So questions so far as the agenda for next week? Okay, so you get here 10, 15 minutes early. Official time for finals week is 8 to 10. If you want to get here at the same time as you always get, that's fine. I'm guessing once we get started, if everything goes good, we should be done, I'm thinking, by 9:15, roughly around there, possibly. Everything goes good. And that's the final session for the course. It is actually finals week next week. Graduation is next Friday, I believe, right? Anybody graduating in here? Congratulations, congratulations. So those of you that didn't raise your hand, you can go support the students that are graduating. You'll be doing it soon, hopefully. And so I will see you there, those that raise your hand, for sure. They've asked me this year to give the convocation prayer, so I'll be doing that this year at the front. So no pressure there. So I'm looking forward to doing that, though. I was honored to be asked. And so, but graduation is a big thing. I guess I'll just, if those of you raise your hand, I'm not assuming you're going. So, but I'll just encourage you to go without stepping on your toes, or maybe stepping on your toes, I guess, because it's a once in a lifetime thing. Really, you put a lot of work into to come to this point, and I know you put long nights, long weeks, a lot of study. A lot of you working full time, or maybe 2 full-time jobs, and going to school. So I've been there before. So it's a big thing to walk and have your family see it and your friends see it, and you as well enjoy that. Hour and 15, whatever it is, and then it's done, and you definitely won't regret it. So anyway, I'll stop doing my spill on that. But definitely encourage you to go to your graduation. Now let's do this. Jane is going to be presenting her code tonight. And did you already send the link and everything, Jane, up here? And the final thing, or no? If not, I'll tell you what, we're going to test on yours tonight to see if I can control your computer back there. So I'm going to come back to your machine, and we'll see if we can turn it on, and we'll have you present from there, if that's okay. Well, so basically, settings. Sure. CIS277. Check that screen share. So keep it there. See if I can see it. That screen that you're in right now, Jane, try to exit out of that. that airdrop screen I had you open up. There you go. All right. And what was your PC number back again? PC 27? It'll want me to give you permission, or you'll have to give me permission. Yeah. Okay. All right, so I'll let you close out of what's open there. I'll give you control here. Okay, go and tell us about your app, and I'm going to turn this fan off while we're talking here. Tell us about your app and your target audience.
My app is called the Wage Page app. It's an app that's geared towards working, especially people who work jobs that it calculates and keeps track of what you're doing on a weekly basis, but you can use it for 2 days, you can use it for a month, doesn't matter. It's just basically like however much time past you want.
Yep.
Because for some people like me, like I get direct deposit, but I can't see on the slip like what I made before taxes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of cool and all that. I also make a lot of cash tips, and those don't get added into my paychecks because of the way.
Okay. Successes and challenges you had?
Basically just figuring out the placement of like I haven't really done a lot of classes before.
Right.
So that was probably
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't take kind of figure out.
And what would you work on if we had more time and maybe more things you want to add to it?
Probably just the layout.
Gotcha. Yeah, make it a nicer layout. Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, great. We'll go ahead and show us the demo if you don't mind.
So for like the server wage for me, the standard is like $4.95 from admin. Let's just say I work 25 hours that week. That'll show you like the hourly wage, the hours worked, steps, and then.
Okay. Let me see if I can blow that screen up. Scroll it down just a little bit to where the output is, and I'm going to see if I can make it a little bit bigger for you guys to see. Okay, so you entered in, let's see, what, $4.95, right? Hours you worked, hourly wage after tax, and then tips for the week. Okay, I'm in the wrong profession, it looks like. Got it. And then hourly wage worked, tips, gross. You want to calculate again? All right, cool. Yeah, that could be used a lot. I think it'd be helpful for anybody worked in food before. Before, okay. So I did it going through school. In fact, I was a manager for a number of restaurants, and every one of my servers, male and female both, made more money than I did, easy, and they only worked like 20 hours a week. So it was funny. I had one that she was probably about 50 years old. She was the oldest server we had, and Leanne would work on Friday, Saturday, Sunday only, right? And all the high school kids and college kids that worked didn't want to wait tables, so she would let them bus tables and bring drinks out and stuff, and she gave them like just a cut of her wages. Anyway, long story short, I tried to get her to go into management, and I said, well, roughly, because they only had to report a certain amount of tips that they were given. She was making about $800 to $900 just tips only on Friday and Saturday, and then on Sunday she's making $400 on Sunday, and that was before her regular hourly wage. So yeah, this would be helpful for sure, and making a better wrapper for it, more GUI interface or something like that. So yeah, well, good job. Let's give her a hand. Great. Well, now that we have the bugs worked out on the sharing, I will put all those together. They did change it on the Macs here, which doesn't surprise me, on how to share your screens, but I'll have that all printed out for us next week. Great. And then I'll just like I did Jane, once we get this set up and you guys come in and gals come in, everybody create the share on your computer. I'll have you email me your PC number real quick, and then I'll know which one to connect to. The one thing also I want to make mention of, when you log in, I think we did this week 1 and 2 and 3 in here, but we didn't do it after that really, just to make things go quicker, because Jane had to do this on hers. Log in with that CIS270 username. I'll have it on the board next week when you come in. The CIS290 bootcamp is the password, I think. That's an admin administrator account for the machines, which makes things go a little quicker. And so you'll do just like Jane did, and then we'll go on right to the next, right in a row alphabetically. So again, how much early do you guys need to be here next week? Or when do we start next week? 8 o'clock. It's a little different. And all your finals are like that next week, by the way. Your instructor should have already told you if you're having finals in your classes. And so 8 to 10, we'll probably be done by 9:15, I'm guessing. That's if we really knock it through pretty quick, 3 to 5 minutes, which roughly, once we got started, Jane, I think that's about what it was, 3 to 5 minutes, something like that. I will bring pizza, and is that sheet going around somewhere? Oh, cool. And so if you've not filled out the sheet, it's up here at the front, just on what you'd like to bring. And I'll look at it and see what everybody's bringing. Make sure there's no gaps. Make sure we're not all, make sure there's napkins and stuff like that. And something to drink, water, stuff like that. Any objections on pepperoni and cheese pizza? Because that's what we're getting. And normally we don't do this in this classroom, so don't be telling anybody. I'll be bringing pizza in this classroom, so we're not supposed to. But Deb knows in the lab, and that's about it. Lab person, so that's all I care about. Make her happy. And so we'll just make sure after we're done, we'll not make a mess or anything, but it will be fine. And so we'll do that next week, and that'll be our final session. Any final questions between now and next week? Yeah.
If I'm trying to have a backup by making a complete.
Do I know?
If I'm trying to make like a backup plan,
just in case, yeah.
And I want to make like a recording.
Yeah.
Somewhere. How do I?
Oh, like
software should I use?
Screencast-O-Matic is what I use. It's a nice recording. You can make it your screen.
Download it or?
No, it's totally online.
Oh, okay.
Just Google Screencast-O-Matic. You set up a free account. I do that for my PhD class. My online class works really nice. You get 15 minutes free. Should be enough time to do recording. And yep, Screencast-O-Matic, and there's a dash in between. Should be an email. What I'll do, I'll post it on our session.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put it on our announcement this week for everybody else wants to. Yep.
So you want me to do that as well still, or am I going to be presenting from up there?
Yeah, he's already given me, he's got an executable I'm running in a Windows machine. Yours Linux,
yeah.
Yours Windows. So I think we should be good. I'll just run it over here on the laptop this week. But he's saying as a backup, just in case it doesn't work, he's got a backup to kind of fall back on. Not a bad idea. I feel like it might not work. If you test it up, it should be okay. But if you want to do backup, that's fine. It's not, I'm not requiring you to. Cool. All right, well, that's all I got. If you have any other questions, come see me. Make sure you checked into the iPad before you leave tonight. And then looking forward to everybody's presentations. I know everybody put a lot of hard work into it. A lot of cool stuff we're going to see next week. So look forward to it. All right, good job.